Hello, thank you for joining me and welcome to Write On, a video series about writing. I am Quinne, your host, author of the steampunk series The Captain and the Lady Fair, with Book 3 in progress, and a cookbook. Today's topic, editing. There are many tricks to doing a self-edit on a work before sending it to a paid editor. The better the work is edited, the less time it will take for the editor to get back to you, which can mean saving money when paying an editor by the hour. Use a text-to-voice program to read it to you. Watching the text as it is read will help you catch wrong use words and more. Use the find function in your word processor to search for words and phrases you know you tend to overuse. Then, that, and. Use find and search for the following phrases, clips, comma, close quote. You'll never find me. This error can happen in edit when dropping off a tag or an attribute. Space, close quote. Get in the car. Space, period. They walked the aisle. To me. This one slips in many works that I've seen. He gave the book to me. ly space. This will find adverbs that can probably be replaced or rewritten. There's nothing wrong with adverbs except that if you use too many, it looks kind of weak. And. Searching for and is tedious, but you can check to see if you missed an Oxford comma. Add any special words to the dictionary and keep a written list. Scroll through the work with spell check on. When you hit an indicated misspelling, check with the list. Examples: a name, Grandelphus. You may slip on occasion and use Grandelphus. Dialect, Ifen, might be later mistyped as Ifen. Those special words, once you tell the dictionary to add, if you right-click on the highlighted misspelling, usually it will bring up the correct and you can just accept it. Now, there is outside help to do your editing. There are websites, two of which that I know of are Writing Pro Aid and Hemingway. Both are free to use and take 3,000 word chunks. That'll help find grammar errors, repeat words, adverbs, etc. Hemingway is basic, and Writing Pro Aid is more in-depth. Writing Pro Aid is free online, but it's cheap to buy and install it. It becomes an add-on to Word. Now, I'll caution you, use only one analysis at a time, or you'll be buried under information. Now, let's go into the last part of editing. Printout. When you're finished with your work, ignore it for 2 weeks. 4 weeks is better. This lets your brain forget details of the work. If you jump into an edit without the delay, the brain tends to add the skipped words or ignore wrong words because it knows what was meant when it was written. Copy the doc to a new Word page, if using Word, and increase the font as well as change the font. What we're doing is fooling the brain to think that because it is on paper, different font and size, that this is a different work. This allows the brain to pay attention and not skip or insert what it knew should be there. The other trick is to go through the work backwards. This keeps the brain from getting involved in the storyline and pay attention to editing. Now, print it out single-sided. Before you punch the holes to put it in the binder, decide which side to punch the holes. If I punch the holes on the normal side, when I turn the pages, the blank will be on the left. I'm right-handed, so I want the blank pages on the right, so I can make notes easier. If I punch the holes on the wrong side, if I punch the holes on the wrong side, Now the blank pages are on the right. That makes it easier for you to make notes. Start at the end and go through the work one line at a time. Watch for punctuation, especially open and end quotes. Wrong word typed in. There instead of there. Bear instead of bear. Look at the grammar of each line. When done, go through the work forwards. That would be forwards. We turn it. I still have my blank page. I suggest standing up and reading it aloud. Again, this is to trigger the brain to think differently. You sat at the keyboard to create the work and only read the work internally. Reading it aloud is a different mindset. Now watch for plot, foreshadowing, consistent names, particularly if you've changed the name of a character, one might got missed, missing dialogue or narrative that can happen with cut and paste. See if it flows, or are there parts that slow the read? Which sections that the dialogue is too long or narrative too long, or an info dump. Now, here's another little trick. Put a number where you decide I need more narrative to describe the situation, describe the surroundings, whatever. Make yourself a note. Just put a 1. Go to your blank side and put in what you think the narrative will be. Same thing for dialogue. Need to add a little bit of dialogue or fix it? Make yourself a note. Real easy. Now when you're going through to put the fixes in your computer, you can easily see any corrections you made and any notes you made. Now there's another trick. Now this one's a little bit extra work and you may or may not want to do it. But if you grab different highlighters, you can highlight the different main characters with a different color. For example, this is the captain, and he has a dialogue. And wherever there's dialogue, I can highlight his dialogue. A little bit tedious, but it can be done. Now, a different character gets a different color. Why did we do this? Well, we can go through and, again, stand up and read would be best, but because we're going to read aloud and it's just dialogue, you can sit down. Read just one color, that one character's dialogue. This allows you to see if during the course of the work we started making that one character sound like Yoda or something else, too formal, or he just totally changed the way that they speak. I have 2 characters that are learning to speak proper English. So I have to watch their dialogue to make sure that they're consistent on what they're learning and how their language is improving. So it can come in handy to be checking dialogue. You don't have to check the people that just show up and say, hey, the boat's sailing, and that's the only time you see them. Just your main characters that have a good amount of dialogue that you want them to stay consistent. Normally that's probably 3, maybe 4 characters max. All right. That's it. Now let's go back to me. Thanks for watching. I hope this video has helped you improve on editing. Until next time, right on.